how I can contribute, how I can learn. It's a proposition with all fake people with a fake situation. पर वो 6 महीने के लिए वो आपकी दुनिया है.
Since you have said that you use generative AI,
Yeah.
this is a very, very big debate right now that AI will take up the job in the legal domain.
तिनका होता है ना पानी में जिसको आप पकड़ के पार कर लेते हो. I'm like, he didn't say no.
डूबते को तिनके.
बिल्कुल. And you know, I am very fortunate that the right law schools also happen together.
Those domains.
Yes.
इस डोमेन में जाने से पहले कोई certification ले ले.
Even if you're growing 10% every year, by the end of those 5 years, you're doing so much more. I only got serious in my 3rd year. For the first 2 years, I met my now husband, so I wasn't wasting my time for sure.
Hello everybody, welcome back to FJ Law Kid. आज हमारे गेस्ट का नाम है श्रेया तिवारी मैम. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर बीइंग हियर. मैम अभी लंदन में इंडिया थोड़े टाइम वेकेशंस के लिए आए हुए हैं, सो थैंक यू सो मच. आपने जेनरसली हमें वापस से इनवाइट किया.
No.
काफी टाइम पहले मैंने आपको सो शी इज बीन वेरी जनरस दैट शी रिमेंबर्ड इट कि आप इंडिया आए हैं, कि आपने मुझे बुलाया यहाँ पर. थैंक यू सो मच. सो आज जो हमारा थीम रहेगा, आई विल बी आस्किंग हर क्वेश्चंस अबाउट डेटा प्रोटेक्शन लॉज में जो करियर बिल्डअप होता है वो कैसे होता है. सो मैम के बारे में थोड़ा सा मैं आपको बता देती हूँ. शी डिड हर LLB फ्रॉम NLU पटियाला. उसके बाद में मैम वेंट ऑन टू लंदन स्कूल ऑफ इकोनॉमिक्स, जहाँ पर मैम ने इंफॉर्मेशन मीडिया एंड डेटा प्रोटेक्शन लॉज को ही परस्यू किया. आफ्टर दैट शी बिकेम द एम्प्लॉय फेलो एट द हार्वर्ड यूनिवर्सिटी बर्कमन क्लाइंट सेंटर. सो मैम थैंक यू सो मच अगेन. मैम आप सबसे पहले तो आप मुझे बताएं, हाउ डिड यू हैव सो मच क्लैरिटी इवन आफ्टर LLB व्हाइल आई वाज गोइंग थ्रू योर प्रोफाइल. I could sense that आप शुरू से ही we've been working in the media domain itself.
Yeah.
So how is that? So कि आपको शुरू से पता था कि मुझे इसी डोमेन में प्रैक्टिस करना है.
It's actually I did a moot in 2018 called the Oxford Prize Media Moot Court Competition. हमारे law schools में, since you're also a lawyer, no, they teach more traditional subjects, at least until then. Now I know there are more modules or credit courses on different things. I was specializing in business laws.
Okay.
And I thought, okay, iska to next step looks like a law firm or like maybe working in the government or something like that. But in 2017, I believe, or 18, I did the Oxford Prize Media Moot Court Competition.
Okay.
Which is a media law moot court competition.
Okay.
It is a hypothetical set of facts on an issue where, for example, a tech platform is made liable for a journalist's content or for any type of user's content, and that has some offline implications.
Okay.
And then in that way, in that case, in a time when there are no legislations on these issues, how will you manage that situation?
Okay.
So I did that moot. It was like when you burst a bubble and then all of it comes clear to you. It was that moment for me, reading that set of facts, meeting people who are doing this in such a niche was very fascinating. I did that, and I remember walking back to my hostel room one evening after studying the whole day in the library, and it didn't feel like work at all. It felt like play. It felt like, oh, this is something I can spend a large part of my career just working on.
Okay.
Keep learning. There's so much merit to learning traditional legal frameworks like labor or criminal or civil law as well. But those are books that you study to try to interpret. This is a niche that is still our generation, the generation ahead of us will still create.
Yeah.
So that really excited me. Yeah, I thought, oh, I don't know. The US is saying one thing, the UK is saying one thing, India is still figuring out what to say.
Yeah.
So when that began, it just still hasn't stopped. Every place I've gone has been incentivized by curiosity of that person back 10 years ago, walking back to my hostel room.
So it's a road not taken, so at least you'll find yours.
Yes, I would say that, yes. That's why I started here and then never stopped, looked back. Every work that I've done has been driven by what quality of work I will be doing rather than where I will be doing it.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then you went on to London School of Economics. इसी को pursue करने के लिए.
That again, I did my did the moot, and we were able to win the moot. My team, fantastic team of researchers, speakers. We won the moot in the national level. Then we went to the for the finals in Oxford, where we stood as semi-finalists.
Okay.
Then I'm like, अब मुझे ये और पढ़ना है, मैं कहाँ पढ़ूँ? I don't know. No one in India is teaching it.
Yeah.
Then
at that time it was not.
So. There are the Cambridges and Oxfords of the world which are still doing it, which have started doing it now. Back then, there was one course at the London School of Economics.
That's why they were zealous.
Yes. They were doing an LLM in information technology laws.
Okay.
Which is what I went to pursue.
Okay.
I was fortunate to be able to get in.
Okay.
And then got the courses I wanted, studied with fantastic professors there. And so anyone looking to get in a non-traditional field, I would suggest find out who's teaching it. Find out who's teaching it. B, find out who's doing similar work, volunteer your time to them, at a very low cost, if not for free.
Okay.
Because it's actually a value exchange. You're getting to know so much more about this non-traditional field that the books are not written for, but you'll get to know when you're working on the field.
That's actually very nice because when people are thinking of pursuing their LLMs, तो उनके दिमाग में ना ये रहता है कि ये फलाने कॉलेज जाना है, ये कंट्री जाना है, बट आपने ये चीज सोची कि मुझे ये डोमेन परस्यू करनी है.
Yes, I was always inspired by domain. It was not about the right law school.
Yeah.
And you know, I am very fortunate that the right law schools also happened together.
Those domains.
Yes, but I feel like it was really just, I was just very inquisitive, truly curious and passionate about what this means, what the AI space means, how I can contribute, how I can learn. Yeah, just be open to learning and keep trying to latch on to like a rock climbing, but for the right domains, right?
Yeah. तो आई एम श्योर मैम आपको क्वेश्चंस पूछते होंगे बच्चे बिकॉज लंडन स्कूल ऑफ इकोनॉमिक्स इट्स अ वेरी प्रीमियम इंस्टीट्यूशन. पीपल ड्रीम ऑफ गोइंग ओवर देयर एंड अगेन वहाँ पे एसओपी एंड सीवी प्ले अ वेरी मेजर रोल. तो उसमें ऑफ कोर्स आई एम श्योर आपके पास ऐसे क्वेश्चंस आते होंगे. इस डोमेन के थ्रू आई रियली वांट कि आप बच्चों को बता दें कि कैसे अपना एसओपी फ्रेम करना होता है, अपना सीवी फ्रेम करना होता है, the right pointers and right things that they must have in it. So
Yeah.
if you can please tell us about it.
Two things. A CV and a statement of purpose. I know it's not cool to say this, but it's just the truth that you need to look at your scores. You need to consistently put your head down, do the work. And if you're in later stages of law school, I would say I only got serious in my third year. For the first 2 years, I met my now husband, so I wasn't wasting my time for sure. But in third year is when I resigned.
Your investment.
Yeah. In the third year is when I decided I want to, like when I do the moot again, that I want to do further education in the field.
So now you have to focus.
Then I put my head down and I started working, bettered my score. So it's not about being the top 1 or 2, in my opinion. It's about just doing the best you can consistently so that even if you're growing 10% every year, by the end of those 5 years, you're doing so much more. So this is to all the students who are in later years of law school and thinking, oh, I didn't start early. It's still fine. I didn't start early either. So keep your scores up. That's traditional, useful advice that's never going to fail you.
Yeah.
B, first, statement of purpose. I think it's about, for me, what really helps me is to think about instances. I do very well with examples. Like, here's what I want to study. Here's why I want to study it. I relate it to current happenings in the world. Thinking in the current framework that we know of, we don't know how to tackle these problems. But what you're teaching will help more people like me tackle these issues.
Okay.
So to come at it from a solution point of view rather than a problem point of view and how you would contribute to the field. Specifically when applying for LLMs, I would say it's important to remember to add something about why that university is the right one for you.
Nice.
Like why you're not choosing another university but choosing Harvard. By that it would mean researching the professors there, researching the research centers there, where people who've studied from there have gone on to work. Add information about that. So why you are the right fit for the university and why the university is the right fit for you.
Nice.
As now I've already mentioned, my motivation to go to the London School of Economics was always just that it was the perfect fit for me and I was the perfect fit for them because I was truly keen on something that they just started to teach.
Okay.
During my time at LSE, I did a strategic consultancy at the Digital Freedom Fund.
Okay.
Which is based out of Berlin.
Okay.
They were thinking of AI or even decolonizing the data that is collected and how it can reflect better on the minority sections of the society as well. So again, what I said earlier about just volunteering my time and saying I want to learn. I think through law school, through my LLM, I've probably done the most number of internships of my batch. Probably, maybe there would be 2 or 3 more.
So you think that made a difference in yourself?
Absolutely. All of us, we all have the books.
Yeah.
But what you learn by operating with other people, thinking about similar problems, learning from each other, because theory is in silos, right? You're just working with you in a book and then going and taking an exam, which is a you and an exam sheet.
Yeah.
But when you're working in a workplace, that energy of people thinking about the same idea, I've done my best to put myself in those rooms.
Nice.
So starting out, I knew that me and my spouse, we always discuss how we want to be the least smart person in all rooms until we became 30. Because that would mean that you're gathering all that knowledge for when you lead up to be in the second phase of your life.
Yeah.
So that has always motivated why I was at LSE, why I chose to do everything I did after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can pick this up कि आपके CV में you were saying कि आप इंटर्नशिप्स भी कीजिए
हाँ जी.
एंड आप अपनी पढ़ाई पे भी ध्यान दीजिए एंड मूड ऑफ कोर्स इज प्लेइंग अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल एज यू सेड आपके लिए
For me, it's the only mood I did, Charvi. I didn't do any other mood. I know people do intramoods, gel up.
I did the one the flaw that you're liking
Absolutely.
you're not like
Especially for non-traditional fields, like international law. I don't know how that would play out unless people were doing like a dress up or like a mood that told them more.
first time होता that you can put that much of an effort and once you've actually graduated you might not have that much fearlessness कि अब मैं एकदम से कुछ न्यू थियरी में चले जाऊं जिसके बारे में मुझे पता ही नहीं. That's lovely. अच्छा मैम अब मुझे बताइए कि इसके बाद में आप you became an employee fellow with the Berkman Klein Center.
Yeah.
Which is specializing again in the same domain.
Yeah.
Which is for the Harvard and which is a very very prestigious institution. अब आप मुझे बताइए कि एम्प्लॉय फेलो एक्चुअली होता क्या है और हार्वर्ड जैसा एक बहुत ही प्रेस्टिजियस इंस्टीट्यूशन क्या बुलेट पॉइंट्स देखता है एक बंदे को अपने साथ में एक एम्प्लॉय फेलो रखने के लिए.
I think that's a great question. When I was finishing my master's at LSE, I was finishing my LLM, I was looking for jobs in the field. I remember thinking that मैं कहीं भी जाऊंगी anywhere in the world that is doing the work I want to do.
Yeah.
At that time, there's a project at the
That
Berkman.
must have given you so much pleasure, ना कि काम वही करना है जो मुझे करना है और रास्ता मिल
It is a product of privilege also. I knew मेरे पास time है to, even if I take 3 more months to figure it out, I can afford. Like I've been privileged enough to be able to afford it.
Nice.
So it is a pleasure and I recognize that. But at the time I was finishing my LLM, the Berkman Klein Center has a project called the Lumen Project, which is a fascinating project for anyone looking to work in this field. It is a project that is a database of all content removal requests sent to online platforms. Like आप सोचो अगर Google को content removal request भेजते हैं आप या मैं
जी.
to remove something,
Yeah.
Lumen के पास एक copy आएगी.
Okay.
Then they will be able to study it to see was it incentivized correctly. They will then give access to those notices to researchers to study patterns of content removal.
Okay.
कोई fraudulent content removal, some legitimate content removal, what incentivized it.
Yeah.
So that project was hiring an employee fellow.
Oh, nice.
Me being most people listening into the audience might be Indian natives, right? I am an Indian citizen.
Yeah.
And so I think I have sent the most number of emails saying, will you give me a visa if I apply for this job? Because that's a big thing working abroad. You need to think about visa issues, whether they will be willing to sponsor your visa. Otherwise, they can be the right fit, but logistics won't work out, right? So I reached out to them, who became my manager, Adam, responded to me saying, well, it's not a no for the right candidate, we will consider it.
Okay.
So like जैसे क्या कहते हो तिनका होता है ना पानी में जिसको आप पकड़ के पार कर लेते हो. I'm like, he didn't say no.
डूबते को तिनके.
बिल्कुल. So I'm like, okay, let me just give it my best shot. I put in my application. We had, I think, like up to 12 or 13 people interviewing us interviewing me in different phases. And then they accepted me.
Okay.
And were able to sponsor my visa as promised. It's not a fellowship, but an employee fellowship because then I was a part of the staff at the Berkman Klein Center at Harvard University. It's often that you can be a fellow there, which means you're not centered there, you're not a staff member there, but you're still affiliated, which I later became an affiliated person and I moved on to different jobs. At the time, for about 2.5 years, I was an employee fellow with the Lumen Project at the Berkman Klein Center. This means I was based out of Boston as a part of the larger umbrella. They have multiple projects that they do. I think that it is one of the most fascinating group of people I have ever met. Someone at the center once told me that what this Berkman Klein Center has cracked is that they know the only way to go up is to push other people to go up as well.
Nice.
And then you go up all together.
Yes.
So it was the bunch of most subject matter expert, hardworking, sincere, supportive group of cheerleaders, all working with each other to grow.
Nice.
And that is a fabric that I've taken from there and I've woven into every other field that I work in, every other job that I do, every other person that I interact with. I always think about how I can add more value to their leveling, which I hope to be able to continue doing, but it's a learning I had over there. Specifically in terms of subject matter, they were doing wonderful work and I just engaging with them, continuing to build on my skill sets, learning drafting. Drafting in India is much different than drafting in the US or than in the UK. Here we tend to be a lot more verbose. Like, we will say the same thing in 3 different ways using 5 different heavy words. Okay. Working at Berkman Klein Center, I learned to explain things to people like they're 5 years old.
Okay.
Like if you can explain something to someone like a 5-year-old, then you truly get the concept.
Okay.
So now I always pressure test myself. Like, have I truly understood this concept? Let me not use big words. Let me use simpler words to see if I can understand it.
Yeah, that is not all how it is said.
Yes. So that's the other thing I learned there. So I learned a lot of life skills along with more subject matter material at my time at the Berkman Client Center. Yeah.
तो अब जैसे आपने बताया that you were applying for it and because you were pretty clear that this will be something very exciting. अगर कोई इंसान है जो इंडिया में है, ठीक है, अगर उसने LLB या LLM यहीं से करी है and this person is very adamant कि मुझे वहाँ जाना है या फिर मुझे वो वाला exposure चाहिए जो आपको मिला, तो do they even consider it? Is it considered in education from India is considered good enough to pick students right from here and get their visa sponsored by the US or by a university like Harvard?
I would say it's possible.
Is it?
I would say it's possible. It's not unlikely.
Okay.
It depends again upon the gravity of the kind of work you've done here. There are so many people who've run excellent projects in India on the basis of which they've gotten scholarships to do work at Harvard or other prestigious universities across the world.
Yeah.
So I would say it's possible for sure. Undeniably, it helps to have institutional backing.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
you can't say that no, I'm sitting here and I did my law degree at NLU and then I went to this fellowship at this prestigious university. It can happen, but in terms of probability, if I've then gone to LSE, again I've sort of recall value, na. If I talk to a third person and they say, oh, Charvi has been doing this work, I'm already building off someone I've already trusted.
Yeah.
You. As opposed to someone I don't yet know.
Yeah.
Similarly, if you apply to a third
Value adds on to your credibility. It's adding on to the...
It's just the trustworthiness or that pedigree that you bring with you. It would be false for me to say that it is not an enabler in your next steps. Can you do without it? It's possible you can still get there without it, but it is also likely it will take you a bit longer.
Yeah, nice.
Because then what I did by being an LSE for 1 year, maybe someone else might have to do 2 years of 2 other things to make up for that same amount of credit to build their career. So it's possible, but a smoother ride if you have this pedigree behind it. But to those, I would, like, if you don't have that pedigree or you think you're not in a position where you can access that pedigree yet, I would recommend that you make up for it with quality of work.
Okay.
If you do a lot of work across multiple fields, and I feel like if you're just working sincerely, money or accomplishments are a matter of when, not a matter of if.
Nice.
When they come to you, not if they come to you. So even if to be able to access these institutions, if you don't have that brand institutional value, but you have the work to back you up, just meeting one person at a time, growing one person at a time, it's not that it's not possible. Also, in the same breath, I want to say that there are many like me, but since I am fortunate to have this platform, I am always accessible to speak with people who don't know how to make it. I do it often. It's part of why I wanted to be on your podcast. So that I can just say, look at this link. I've said a lot here.
Yeah.
But there are many like me who are open to LinkedIn cold emails because that's what we did to get ahead in our career. So just to rely on that as much as possible. That is a very long answer. But I think the nuances are important because of the different kind of users out there. Yeah.
मैम एक बात बताइए, जैसे अभी कैमरा जब रोल होना शुरू हुआ उससे पहले मैंने आपसे पूछा कि आपको जब आप LSE गए आपको स्कॉलरशिप मिली थी, आपने बोला नहीं मिली. अब now there are people I know who have cracked the LSE and have gotten into LSE for example, but अब उनको जब स्कॉलरशिप नहीं मिलता तब वहाँ पे एक द्वंद्व आ जाता कि यार अब जाएं कि ना जाएं. आपके हिसाब से जाने का कोई सेंस है अगर स्कॉलरशिप ना मिले and if you have to get back to India?
Yeah, it's very context specific.
Yeah, it is.
Like if I were to answer this question, I would ask 10 questions before answering it.
Yeah.
What is the kind of liability you will take if you do go without a scholarship? What do you want to do after your degree? There are so many things to this, but let's answer this depending on what you want to do after that degree. If you see having an international career after that, if you want to work, say in academia or in as in think tanks in policy and regulation, it will always help to have that degree.
Yeah, nice.
If you intend to earn in a stronger currency after you've completed your LLM in a stronger currency again, because at one point that stronger currency was a liability. When you start earning it, it will become an asset. So if you're looking to do it that way, there is merit to want to do an LLM, even if it means to seek external financial aid. But if the larger game plan is to come back to India and work as a part of like a framework here, an institutional organization here, then it really is context specific. If you think that it's going to create more liability that you can discharge in a much longer time, there are other ways to still acquire that pedigree. For example, you can write a blog for LSE. Specifically, since we're speaking of LSE, but say any big institution, if you want to add their prestige to your name, you write some interesting work that they want to publish. I know that for media law, LSE has a media blog that they run.
Yeah.
You write work, have it sent there, have it accepted, then you still have that association
Yeah.
without having spent that much money. At the same time, if you're looking to get into academia, just that blog won't help. You will need to have an LLM somewhere, a PhD maybe later on.
Yeah.
Then in those cases, it really, Charlie, I would say is context specific. Yeah. But I'm saying it's not the only way unless you want to be in jobs where that is a qualifier to be able to apply. Yeah.
Again, अब जो मेरा follow up question होगा इससे से related होगा. अब मान लीजिए इंडिया में कोई है and that person wants to work in an international body or an authority or a firm. उसको international exposure चाहिए. अब LLM करना वहाँ पे ज़रूरी हो जाता है या फिर मैं इंडिया में बैठे हुए भी अप्लाई करूँ तो मुझे वहाँ पर कोई जॉब या ऐसा कुछ ओपनिंग में मैं आई कैन फिट इन, ऐसा होता है या फिर LLM करना ही ज़्यादा सेंसिबल है?
It helps. LLM will help. Two reasons. One, because it's going to give you more nuanced domain specific knowledge.
It will.
Because अगर आप for example UN पे काम करना चाहते हो on refugee laws, अगर आपने international refugee laws पे LLM किया है, then UN is more willing to accept you, because during my law school, I worked at Columbia's Center for Global Freedom of Expression.
Okay.
This is before I had an LLM.
I saw.
I had done the Oxford Prize Media Moot Court, whereas one of the judges was already working there as a researcher. And so I'm like, oh, this is interesting. I reached out to them.
Okay.
Then they gave me cases, India-specific cases to summarize and put on their platform.
Okay.
I had that. So it was really about finding opportunities and just like keep reaching out. I've been a first generation lawyer.
Okay.
Which my father always says that अच्छे लोग वकीलों को नहीं जानते, because they don't need lawyers in their life. They will not know lawyers in their life. So I was a first generation lawyer, which is why just reaching out to more and more people, establishing credibility.
Nice.
At different levels, you can do it differently. If you're in
nice.
Yeah.
मतलब आप कहीं भी गए हो, मान लीजिए जज कोई वहाँ के हैं,
Yeah.
या कुछ भी आप बात करेंगे तो अपॉर्चुनिटीज ओपन हो जाएंगे. ऑफ कोर्स LLM एक तरीका है, बट वो एक अकेला तरीका
नहीं, unless वो आपकी जॉब के लिए क्वालिफिकेशन की तरह नेसेसरी.
जैसे आप UN वाला बता
बिल्कुल.
रहे.
One thing that has helped me in good stead is at every level, as a law student, then as a career starting out as a mid-career person, one thing I try to do in rooms is to always establish credibility. Is to talk about my work with humility, but to say that, look, I'm willing to work hard, and here's examples of when I've done it already.
Yeah. Nice.
Then the other person will already start from there with you. They know that this person is a hardworking, sincere person, and then they will treat you like that. So, I think every range of value proposition, and as soon as you establish your credibility, you're able to offer what value you can offer to them, then they will think more about what they can offer to you. But I think the glass half full is always a better framework to operate. Especially as a first generation lawyer. Yeah.
और अगर आप सीधा यहाँ से randomly apply करने लग जाए, supposedly कि कोई vacancy आई है, so you think that won't work, आपको human interaction थोड़ा रखना पड़ेगा.
I would apply, then I would go on to LinkedIn and see who's hiring.
Nice.
And reach out to them as well.
Nice.
And
That's very important.
Yes. Then I would set up a call to say, I have questions that I would want for you to answer. Again, establish credibility. I've done my research. I know I didn't apply for 100 jobs and yours was one of them.
Yeah.
I took the time out to find out what you were doing, why you were doing it. And then I created a set of questions that I'd love more insight on. Everyone likes to meet people who are curious.
Yeah. So it's like a mini SOP. Then why do you want to?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
So because इससे आपका एक sense of purpose पता चल जाएगा ना कि आप ये क्यों कर रहे हो, और आप जो आपके हायरर हैं उनको भी पता चल जाएगा कि आपने इसमें एक एफर्ट लगाया.
एफर्ट, बिल्कुल.
पर ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि आप randomly अप्लाई ही कर रहे हैं और it is just one of the applications.
I know very few people for whom that's worked.
Yeah.
कि आपने same piece of work से 10 जगह अप्लाई करा, So after a certain point, the quality of what you will be doing will be determined just by how hard you worked. No,
Yeah.
the same quality of work in 10 places will not give the same returns. So I would not recommend it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ab ma'am, we started it with the importance of the mood
Nice.
that played in your life. So अब अगर हम इसके बारे में बात करें, ऑक्सफोर्ड प्राइज मीडिया मूक की काफी प्रेस्टिजियस मूक कॉम्पिटिशन है। इसके बारे में बच्चे पूछते भी हैं, जानने की भी कोशिश करते हैं। तो इसका जो प्रोपोजिशन रहता है, आपने बताया कि वो इसी डोमेन में रहता है, राइट? तो इसके बारे में आप बताइए कि आप लोगों ने कितना, यू नो, हाउ मच यू प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर इट एंड वेयर डिड यू गो फॉर इट, एंड आपने बताया कि दैट यू वन इट, एंड आप आई थिंक बेस्ट ओरेटर भी थे उसमें,
Yes.
राइट? तो कितना टाइम लगा था आपको प्रिपेयर करने में और पूरा मेमोरियल ड्राफ्ट?
I think I have to jog my memory really, but I think it took, we did 3 or 4 months of work
Oh, that's involved.
before we submitted our written memorial.
Okay.
And then we had maybe another month or something for the orals, for the oral rounds that
6
happened.
months you actually must have given.
Yeah.
Oral round, where did the oral round happen?
It was so they do zonal rounds first, where each team will qualify for each zone.
Okay.
Then those teams will go for the world competition to Oxford University.
Okay.
We won the zonal rounds. In fact, our researchers, our team, we won the best memo. Our team won best team. And I also was able to win the best orator.
Yeah.
So it was a clean sweep, which we were very happy about, because आप 6 महीने लगाते हो तो
What time is?
फिर वो आपकी दुनिया बन जाती है. Even now I coach teams that are doing the moot.
Okay.
And I'm very well aware when they're talking. Imagine at the end of the day, Charvi, it's a proposition with all fake people with a fake situation. पर वो 6 महीने के लिए वो आपकी दुनिया है.
Effort है.
आप सोच रहे हो कि वो इंसान सच में कैसे, like how do I make it happen?
Yeah.
So I learned that I'm capable of working very hard,
Nice.
and that it will give me results through that moot.
Nice.
More than what the domain for me became very important because I made a career in it.
Yeah.
But it also just teaches you the ends that you will go to if you're committed to a project. So I would recommend mooting to all law students across whatever level they're at right now.
Yeah.
But in terms of preparation, I think it was 4 months plus 2 months. And then we had 2 or 3 more months before we went to the international world rounds, where we were semi-finalists. And in fact, me and my co-speaker also won top 10 speakers at the world level. Happened with a lot of practice. Again, meeting more people to take feedback. We met a lot of people who'd done the moot before to practice with them. And we also had a coach. Like now we coach people. We had a coach who, his name is Dibya Jyoti Mainak.
Okay.
Who's a fantastic coach. And back then we hated him for how harsh he was in making us work. But today he's a good friend, and honestly, we were very
Your
good to have him.
institution, your college help you throughout in this?
Yes, I think when we got into the world rounds, they paid partly for us to be able to go visit. They paid for our tickets, which was a big blessing. In terms of finding coaches, I think our batch was the first one that found a coach.
Okay.
It's the NLU Punjab is not a very old law school.
So basically इससे हम ये मतलब we can, you know, take it away that अगर मान लीजिए कि आपका लॉ स्कूल बहुत प्रीमियम लॉ स्कूल नहीं भी है और आपको बहुत ऐसा स्पून फीड सपोर्ट नहीं है वहां से,
हाँ जी,
पर फिर भी आप कर सकते हैं.
बिल्कुल कर
अपनी
सकते हैं. बिल्कुल. You can just apply, reach out to more people, no?
Yeah.
Again, reach out to people, show you've researched them, establish your credibility and say, look, I've done research about you, here's what we're doing. Help us
Nice.
do what you've done.
मैं चाहती हूँ कि जो लोगों के माइंड में है ना कि यार ऑक्सफोर्ड प्राइज मेरा मूड जैसा कोई बहुत ही प्रेस्टिजियस मूड है, वो तो एनएलयू के बच्चे गए हैं तो वो तो कर ही लेंगे. एक ऑलरेडी एक यू नो अगर आपको मेरे से ज्यादा एक्सपीरियंस है, यू मस्ट हैव मेट अ लॉट ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स, तो पहले से ही वो डिसाइड कर लेते कि यार रहने ही देते हैं विद दिस थिंग कि आप लोग का भी तो नया ही लॉ स्कूल इस टाइम पे. यू फाउंड योर ओन कोच, यू मेक योर ओन एफर्ट्स. इसका मतलब आप कहीं से भी हैं, इफ यू मेक योर ओन एफर्ट्स आप कर लेंगे.
Definitely. Confidence is a practice. There are some people who are just born with it. There are others who build it as a skill set. But the only way to do it is to put one foot in front of the other and say, okay, let me try this. And so I was reading this book. It's called The Diary of a CEO.
Okay.
In which the author says that your thoughts and beliefs are built on the evidence you create for yourself. The evidence you create for yourself is when people are looking and when people are not looking. So if today you started this podcast,
Yeah.
the first time you did it, you didn't know if you could,
Yeah.
but you built that evidence
Yeah.
that, oh, I can do it,
Yeah.
which created that thought or belief system in you that
Nice.
you're capable of doing it.
Yeah. That I did it.
So as I was saying that, when you did your podcast, first you build that evidence that evidence then became the foundation on which your thoughts and beliefs were created. Confidence for me has been a similar thing. I didn't start out there. I started out as a nervous person thinking, I don't know if I can do it. And no matter what, someone was, I don't know whose podcast I was watching, who said that everyone is nervous at their level from across all hierarchies of the world. But it's about creating that evidence to say, I did it once, I can do it again.
Yeah.
That will create your thoughts. It'll lead it to be stronger. So just keep building on that. And if you feel like you're not from what is considered to be a premier law school, be around people who will make you believe that you can do more than that and you will do more than that. Having a good group of cheerleaders is always going to come in handy. But also build that evidence to build those thoughts and beliefs that there is more. The next steps there are, you can do it. Yeah.
अच्छा मैम, अब एक बात बताइए, जैसे अब आपने यू हैव एस्टैब्लिश्ड योरसेल्फ इन दिस करियर इंटरनेशनली.
हाँ जी.
अब इंडिया में भी बहुत सारे लोग हैं, बिकॉज इट्स अ ग्रोइंग डोमेन इन इंडिया इटसेल्फ राइट नाउ, राइट, स्पेशली आफ्टर द न्यू बिल. एंड अब मेरे ही बैच के बहुत सारे बच्चे हैं हु आर नाउ थिंकिंग अबाउट इट कि यार इस डेटा प्राइवेसी के डोमेन में जाना है, इंफॉर्मेशन टेक में जाना है, तो हम कैसे जाएं? जैसे जनरली क्या रहता है ना, यू जस्ट स्टार्ट अप विद एनीथिंग आफ्टर यू ग्रेजुएट, यू जस्ट एंड अप बीइंग एनीवेयर दैट यू नो फाइंड स्पेस इन. कि किसी लिटिगेशन ऑफिस में चले गए, 1-1.5 साल के बाद लगता है कि यार मुझे मीडिया डोमेन में मान लीजिए जाना है, तो मैं क्या करूं उसमें जाने के लिए? एंड ऐसे कौन से ऑफिसेज हैं या फिर कोई ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस हैं जिनके बारे में मुझे पता होने चाहिए कि यार यहाँ पे भी मैं अप्लाई कर सकता हूँ?
So there are a few avenues. There's think tanks.
Yeah.
Then there is TMT. TMT teams have existed long before data protection laws.
Okay.
TMT teams हमारी telecommunications, media and technology teams होती हैं, which historically have been working on with broadcasting companies and so forth. वो law firms में होते हैं. ठीक. So if you want to go to the law firm route, TMT teams may be a good place to begin. ठीक है. If you're looking at the think tank space, policy advocacy space, I know in India we have the Internet Freedom Foundation, which is doing some amazing work advocating for everyone's digital rights. There is it's called CIS, Center for Internet and Society,
Okay.
which is also doing similar work. At NLU Delhi, we have the Center for Content Governance.
Okay.
It's called CCG.
Okay.
Maybe I've messed up the full, it's called CCG.
Okay.
So align yourself with them. I know that they often hire consultants or volunteers.
Okay.
Look at that. There's also SFLC in India, based in Bangalore, I believe, who's doing some very good work. I know the Dialogue is also a think tank looking at the data privacy section.
Okay.
I'm sure we'll think of more, but that's what's coming to mind for now. That is a think tank space. We've covered the law firm space. There's also now within the government, in the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, there's the India AI mission, the data protection legislation and framework that are always looking for support and help. So, but here's the catch. You'll always say, oh, I don't know anyone who's working there. I don't know how I'll work there too.
Yeah.
I didn't know people either. I send people, I'll Google people till I find their emails, or I'll find them on LinkedIn, or I'll find someone who knows them on LinkedIn, and then just show up.
Yeah.
Like
these
in
are
very
very practical hacks जो मैम आपको बता रहे हैं.
Yeah.
ये आप करेंगे तभी होगा.
तब ज़्यादा likely है कि होगा.
चीजों को करने से ही होगा. अच्छा मैम, आप ये भी रेकमेंड करते हैं कि आप इस डोमेन में जाने से पहले कोई सर्टिफिकेशन ले लें इसकी, या फिर कुछ ऐसा कर लीजिए, बिकॉज लॉ स्कूल में अगर आपने नहीं पढ़ाई करी है इसके बारे में, पढ़ना तो पड़ेगा ना. डोमेन में जाने से नॉलेज तो होनी चाहिए. तो वो नॉलेज गेन कैसे करें? आप क्या रेकमेंड करते हैं कि आप खुद से पढ़ लीजिए, या फिर कुछ से यू गो फॉर सम सर्टिफिकेशन और some kind of a diploma?
There are now lots of diplomas and certifications that you can go for in the field.
Yeah.
But the hack in what I find the most fascinating and why I love this field that I'm in is that it's changing every 3 months.
It's growing every day.
What is technology 6 months ago is not today. Now we've had a whole new generative AI, which will become something else in the next 6 months. So upskilling is important.
Yeah.
So once you entered a certification or a diploma and started working, does not mean that you're now like at the top of it and you know everything. You have to keep upskilling because something new is coming out in 6 months. So become a user of that. Like for generative AI, I'm always telling people that I'm using it all the time to understand from a policy point of view what it has gotten right, what it has not gotten right. So to upskill is also important. Start with a certificate diploma, then work but then continue to find out what's new and learn about it either through internships, through volunteering, through working full time, through consulting, or through doing these diplomas or talking with other domain experts. Like you have a hack. You are meeting people in the legal field through media law. You're meeting people, I'm sure, in the UPSC space, in the judiciary space. So you created that hack for yourself. We are always upskilling to know about new niches. So find your own way that you enjoy that.
मिलने से पहले मुझे इस डोमेन के बारे में पढ़ करके आना पड़ेगा।
हाँ जी।
और
So
ऐसे
yeah,
just
yeah.
about
Just
things.
learning more through all of these forums is a good starting point.
Yeah. So I'm adding a question. Since you have said that you use generative AI,
Yeah.
this is a very, very big debate right now that AI will take up the job in the legal domain. That सब कुछ AI बना करके दे देगा, क्या लीज बनानी है, क्या विल बनानी है, AI बना करके दे देगा. So you think that, or I heard somebody who was saying that AI will not take jobs. Somebody who is not using AI, somebody who's using AI would take your job. So,
Controversial.
how do you see the future of AI? We can cut it if you don't know it. You know.
That's no problem. I think the question of AI as an existential threat
Yeah.
is a bit presumptive.
Hmm.
I don't think we're there today.
Yeah.
In fact, I was just at the NASSCOM event. NASSCOM has started a responsible AI conference that they do every year. This was their first iteration. I was on their panel for AI risk.
Okay.
And we were talking about how there is more work to do with AI because people are creating AIs. So whatever biases people have will be borrowed in the AI that they use.
Yeah.
I think you said correctly that people who know AI will have an edge over people who don't know AI. I don't see it as an existential threat today. I'm a very glass half full kind of person. So I think that to make processes efficient in the legal space, in the real estate space, in the power distribution space, my father runs a chain of sweet stores.
Okay.
So in the supply chain space, it's an asset to use it well.
Yeah.
It'll also, in fact, in a way, create jobs.
It will.
Imagine that you need AI, then you need data to train the AI.
Yeah.
Then you need people who are creating that data to train the AI. Then you need to back integrate some level of employment of people to train it. But I agree that there is room for legal tech, like there is room for technology interventions in any space
Yeah.
to make processes more efficient, more systematized and more scalable.
Yeah.
So I am very bullish on making the best use of AI. I know AI was an elitist concept until maybe a year ago, until ChatGPT maybe.
Yeah.
Now you have
Has made it very common.
Yeah. Now this elitist system of using AI is become a lot more like if all of us have it now. We are now
more acceptive of it.
Yeah, so using it to make 5 hours of your work possible in 5 hours at a much higher scale of efficiency is an asset, and I would think of it as that.
Yeah.
So I don't think I believe in Japan they have driverless trains. Drivers are now unemployed in specific context of those trains.
Yeah.
But now they have a supervisory office where they're always manning those driverless trains.
Okay.
So it's therefore created more jobs for those people.
Yeah.
So I think if you're working in a space that you think will be taken over by AI, I think it's about upskilling and knowing how you can integrate it in your work to make it more, to make yourself a better,
Productive,
a more efficiently operating individual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for this very, very enriching podcast, ma'am. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you to your family as well, who's sitting behind the camera and shooting them along with us.
I thank them also all the time. And I also thank you for doing such amazing work. I'm always available as a resource for anyone sincerely curious, looking to learn. Please reach out to me. That's the only way I've built my career. So I am around for anyone who truly is curious to learn more.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for your time.
Of course.
Thank you.